What's up, guys? This is Matt Singer from ScreenCrush.com, and today we're counting down the top 5 most shameless Superman ripoffs of all time. Remember how we counted down the top 5 Star Wars ripoffs? And there were movies like Star Crash and Galaxina that took a lot of the imagery and ideas from Star Wars and then recontextualized them in new stories. For years, many filmmakers have done basically the same thing with Superman, except without the recontextualizing part, and also without the new stories part. Now they pretty much straight up rip off Superman. His costume, his powers, his origin, his supporting cast, and they just set it in a different country and in a different language. Ready to see for yourself? Let's start the countdown with number 5, Raya Dil. Okay, so this is the least rip-offy of the bunch. In fact, Raya Dil, a 1988 Indian film, has very little to do with Superman. It's mostly a family drama about two sons locked in a struggle with their wealthy dad in a battle over his fortune. But like so many Indian movies, Raya Dil has musical numbers, and one of those musical numbers looks like this. Yes, that's a character dressed like Superman, dancing with a character dressed like Spider-Man, or Spider-Woman in this case. And yes, it's clear that when this copyright nightmare couple fly around, they're mostly just standing on something and then projected sideways. But so what? This is the closest we will ever get to a Marvel DC crossover movie. Look at Superman go! Even his sense of rhythm has been enhanced by the yellow rays of Earth's sun. Man, that Superman logo is large. Laugh all you want, just this scene alone makes Raya Dil a better Superman movie than Superman 4, and a better Spider-Man movie than The Amazing Spider-Man 2. On to number 4, 1980s Superman. This superhero adventure, also from India, often referred to online as Telugu Superman because that's the language that's spoken in the film, retells the classic Superman origin that we know and love. Superman's parents are murdered by cowboys, and then he prays to the Hindu god Hanuman for the power to get revenge, and when that doesn't work, he stabs himself to prove just how serious he is about the whole quest for vengeance thing. Okay, so the origin isn't quite Superman. It's more like Batman with a dash of Death Wish. But once the kid, named Raja in this version, grows up to be Superman, things get a bit more recognizable. Yes, he has an H on his chest instead of an S. Remember, he got his powers from Hanuman. But there's no mistaking that red and blue outfit. And this Superman, played by legendary Indian actor N.T. Rama Rao, flies, punches people, and fights elephants. Also, he has this awesome theme song. Alright, fine. Telugu Superman does take a bit of artistic license with the whole Superman concept. Never more so than when Superman does get his revenge. At one point, he catches one of these cowboys and straight up stomps the dude to death. Yikes. NTR Superman is the kind of guy who would punch a dude in the balls and then smile because being Superman is awesome. Admittedly, he still needs to work on his flying, and particularly his landings. Still, compared to some of the other guys on this list, he's practically Henry Cavill. Number 3. Return of Mr. Superman. The oldest movie on our list comes from 1960. It's another Bollywood production that borrows liberally but not entirely faithfully from the Superman mythos. After an incredibly random opening of animal stock footage, it gives us the familiar rocket from Krypton to Earth. At least I think that's a rocket? Sure, why not?
Thank you, Mr. Superman.
Mr. Superman, who, yes, is referred to as Mr. Superman, has a slightly different costume than the Man of Steel. He wears an aviator's cap and goggles, along with a black mask, tunic, and white cape. There's no S-shield, no spit curl, and no underwear over the pants. Even by the lenient standards of Superman ripoffs, Return of Mr. Superman's visuals are not up to snuff. Here's one of the big fight scenes from the climax of the movie. Superman! Weird that slightly above average balance is not one of Superman's powers, but whatever. At least he can fly! Alright, never mind, Mr. Superman sucks. On to number 2, Superman Returns. You heard right. 25 years before Bryan Singer's Superman Returns, a group of enterprising Turkish filmmakers knocked off Richard Donner's blockbuster and passed it off as their own. They even recycled John Williams' famous score. In Superman Returns, Clark Kent is named Typhon, and played by Turkish actor Tayfun Demir. He's sent to Earth from Krypton, although it's mistakenly referred to as a star and not a planet, where he's found and adopted by a kindly couple. When he's older, his parents reveal they found him in a spaceship, and then the ghost of his father reveals the source of his powers.
Hazreti Süleyman'ın zekası, Herkül'ün kuvveti, Atlas'ın tahammülü, Zeus'un selameti, Aşil'in cesareti, Merkür'ün sürati.
Hang on a second. Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, Mercury? They managed to rip off Superman and Shazam at the same time! Actually, Turkish Marlon Brando left out a ton of Turkish Superman's powers. Besides flight and super strength, his abilities include slow zoom vision, jumping, looking both ways before crossing the street, not making eye contact with people when talking to them, copyright violation, and immunity to headbutts. Is Superman Returns as polished as the American Superman Returns? Yeah, no. But, like Turkish Star Wars, Turkish Superman is also a lot of fun, with a wonderful sense of pacing and energy. There's definitely a sense that at any moment in this movie, anything could happen. Like testing an energy ray on a cat, or Superman suddenly turning into a perv and using his X-ray vision to look under women's clothing, or whatever this is. Plus, the effects are seamless. See if you can spot where Superman is replaced by a model. Did you spot it? Here, try again. Right there. Amazing. Okay, time for the #1 most shameless Superman ripoff, Superman from 1987. The Man of Steel was most recently, homaged in this movie by Indian filmmaker B. Gupta, who went even further in his total ripoffness than his Turkish counterparts, swiping not only the John Williams score, but many of the earlier film's visual effects. Even more ballsy, Gupta actually gives himself credit for the movie's special effects over a shot of Krypton that he has stolen from the Richard Donner Superman. Look at that! That would be like me buying a copy of The Old Man and the Sea, crossing out Ernest Hemingway's name and being like, yeah, I made this, that'll be $15. The only thing special about this Superman's effects are how many of them violate the laws of continuity and physics. In this scene, Superman saves a plane from crashing, and when it's in the air, it's night, and when it's on the ground 4 seconds later, it's daytime. Here, Superman's wandering around at night, and then there's an explosion in broad daylight. And then when Superman and this movie's version of Lois Lane go for their romantic flight together, it looks like this. I don't even know what to do with this moment where Superman uses his super breath to defeat a bad guy. Okay, you're obviously just walking backwards. But we can see your feet. Stop it. I've got to give some credit to actor Puneet Isar. He is jacked to the gills. Of all these Superman ripoffs, he's the only one who has the physique to really pull this character off. And major bonus points for having the young Clark Kent, or Shakar as he's known in this movie, show off his incredible superpowers as a boy by breakdancing to Michael Jackson's Beat It. Plus, in one scene, Superman somehow yanks a gun out of a bad guy's hand and beats him like 10,000 times. It is great. A lot of the rest of the movie, though, is not. And a ton of it is flat out stolen from the Richard Donner Superman. When Superman lays down on the tracks so a train can zoom overhead and avoid disaster, I kind of started to wish I was a Superman ripoff. If I was, I could just fly backwards around the planet in reverse time so that I would have never had to watch this thing in the first place. For Screen Crush, I'm Matt Singer. Thanks for watching, and for even more, make sure to subscribe, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and get the latest movie and TV news on ScreenCrush.com.